This is a picture of New Jersey Representative Andy Kim. Obviously, he is of an Asian descent, and he was the only official who stayed behind to help janitors and cleaners after the insurrection in the Capitol. He was there until 3 a.m., helping the cleaning crew clean. He did his part and did not leave until the Capitol was clean. And quite honestly, I was not surprised to see it. I grew up in a traditional Asian home, a traditional Filipino home specifically, and this meant that there is the responsibility and the obligation didn't start and end with me. It meant that I was part of a community. It meant that I was responsible not just for myself, not just for my immediate family, not just for my extended family, but for the whole community as well. I was not trained to wait to be told what to do. I looked at the gaps, tried to fill it in, and then when I'm done, I was trained to ask, what else can I do? And there's a widespread misconception that Asians have one culture. That's not further from the truth. There's so many countries, more than 40 countries there, and we have thousands of languages and thousands of different cultures. And many a times, in one island, there are multiple languages and multiple cultures. And so you could imagine how you would compound that with the different countries in Asia. But there are things that are common among many Asian countries, and that includes the sense of community, the kinship, the sense of responsibility towards others. I think one of these things, and this is not to say that it's a perfect race. We're not perfect. We have our own issues. In fact, we're very much into classism, just as much as other races are, just as much as other countries are. But when it comes to a sense of community, we're there. There is always the notion, the frame of mind that we're not just here for ourselves, but also for other people. Here in the West, we have a very self-involved culture. It's all about me. It's all about my personal space. Don't get into that's none of my business. That's not my problem. I have my own issues, and that has benefits, but it also has disadvantages. And making sure that you deal with your own problems, that's not a bad thing. I've always believed that you can't give what you don't have. If you're not stable, you can't give others stability. But sometimes it's the pendulum swings too far. It becomes too much that we don't have any regard at all for what others, for the good of the others. I think one prime example of this is how there were so many Westerners that were actually pushing back against the wearing of the mask. They didn't care about what they will transmit to other people. This is not all Americans, okay? There were also a lot of Americans who were all for the mask, but there were many who weren't, because they felt like it is a violation of their right. But in Asia, it was such a simple, almost automatic thing that if you're sick, you go ahead and wear a mask because you don't want to infect others. And that's such a simple it's a simple demonstration on how the sense of community has always been ingrained among Asians. That's from infancy. You know that if you're not sick, you don't want others to get sick, and so you wear a mask. It isn't about your right and your freedom. It isn't about that. It's about the mortality and health of everybody else. That's why there were so many countries who found it so easy to actually flatten the curve. There's also in Japan, in the Philippines, in South Korea, and other countries, some schools also hire very minimal janitorial services because children are taught to have the value and respect of orderliness and cleanliness by actually doing the cleaning themselves. You cannot ever do that here in America. No children is allowed to clean any kind of classroom. So it's just, but that has benefits. In Asian countries, it has benefits because then you're trained to be more you become more empathetic, you become a team player. You don't look at institutions or yourself any higher than the other. You don't think that you're higher than the institution or that the institution is higher than you are. It's all about community. The children are then raised to become aware of the fact that everybody needs to benefit from this educational institution. The country does not have a lot of money, but you can do it. We can all do it, so let's do it. I know that there's this notion in different countries like South Korea and Japan and other countries in Asia where workers are overworked because they work long hours. But there's also this other side that people don't see, and that is there's a lot when companies in Japan, specifically in South Korea and a few other Asian countries, when a company starts going south, the laying off employees is the last option. It's actually the executives that actually take the pay cut. And so there are also some companies who never lay off their employees because they know that if they start laying off their employees, these employees are gonna go back into the unemployment, will become unemployed, will start collecting benefits from the government, and that's just going to create a cycle that is eventually going to start affecting the entire economic health of their country, and they do not want to contribute to that. And so yes, they may be overworked, but they're also much more protected than the workers here in the US. Even the act of taking off your shoes when you enter a Filipino home or you enter an Asian home, yes, it's more about cleanliness. You don't want to bring the dirt that you collect from outside inside somebody else's home. But ultimately, it's all about, again, the sense of kinship, the sense of community, your responsibility. You're doing your part to help this household maintain their cleanliness. It's about respect. So I wasn't really surprised when I saw this picture of New Jersey Representative Andy Kim on his knees helping the workers, helping the janitors and the cleaner clean up the mess that these terrorists and these supremacists left behind. This is Asian culture at its best. This is about a sense of community, ours, because we're a part of a larger group. It's not about status. It's not about who we are. It's not about this expensive suit that he's wearing. It's all about making sure that the Capitol, the symbol of American freedom and American liberation, be kept clean. This is a structure that everyone needs, everyone uses, and everyone must contribute to make sure that it's clean. This is something that I hope Asians will keep, even though I know that this is something that a lot of American parents Asian parents that are raising their kids here in America, they're struggling with it. But I hope we keep it. I hope that we all realize that this part of our culture is beautiful. We're a part of a community, we'll forever be a part of a community, and we need to start thinking more about that. That's it.